नमस्कार, मैं अशोक व्यास हूँ और आज हम बात करने वाले हैं ऐसी जिसको लेकर आपके जीवन की जो प्रसन्नता है वो और अधिक बढ़ जाए। इसीलिए फूलों के और प्रकृति के समीप लेकर आपको आ गए हैं। और आपकी प्रकृति जो उन्नति की है, जो उत्थान की है, एंड द वे यू वांट सक्सेस एंड abundance in your life, how yoga or yogic practice are helpful in that, we have the pleasure of the presence of Manoj Joshi ji, founder of Wellness by All Means. So, Wellness by All Means title itself is very interesting. Why don't we begin by seeking your thought process behind naming your company as Wellness by All Means?
Thank you very much, Ashok ji. Once again, namaste. I think it's really, it was a serendipity. Like I was just looking at different names, and one of the characteristics that I always believe in, like, these multiple paths to everything. Like, we can't see, like, the Veda also talks about, like, Ekam Satya, Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. That means there is only one truth, and Master speaks differently. Master speak differently. See, always I feel like life challenges are always multi-prone, like, different kind of complications that happen in our life. So in order to solve the actual problem of human life, one single approach may not work. So we always have a multi-pronged approach. So from that point of view, I thought, like, why don't we make something called wellness by all means, so that, like, even I am a married person, I've got daughters, I've got wife, I've got children, I've got the work, official work. So how amidst all these things that we're doing together, how through all the different means could teach us one thing, which is the wellness, a holistic aspect of wellness, physical wellness, mental wellness, spiritual wellness. So that inspired me to come up with this idea of, like, wellness by all means could be a beautiful phenomena, that if you can live up to that, so that you don't have to feel inhibited about doing anything somehow or other. If you are doing in a moderate way, like, you can connect that, like, hey, this is connected to the wellness aspect of it. So from that point of view, it can have a little bit of sense of humor also, hey, wellness by all means. And also it could be very serious, like, that means I'm pursuing wellness through everything that I do. So that is the story behind the name. Thank you.
So, starting towards the lighter side with you, and many of us love food, and I'm aware that to be a yogi, one, you need to eat in moderation, and there are certain types of food which have certain sort of impact on the way your mind functions or the way you will think, etc. So, talk to me about that aspect which we should be careful and considerate about in making the choice of the kind of food and the amount of food that we take.
Right. So there are many different aspects of, what we eat is one aspect. Like, there are a lot of theories behind, like, what we eat. Balanced diet, like, उसमें carb होना चाहिए, then you have got protein होनी चाहिए, then fat होनी चाहिए, nutrients होनी चाहिए, minerals होनी चाहिए. Those are all things that what we eat. But oftentimes also we should think about how we eat is also very important. And particularly yoga and Ayurveda and naturopathy talks a lot of things about how we should eat. I think Bhagavad, one of the very ancient Ayurvedic, proponent sages, he doctrined about 300 or treatise on how we eat. That's very important. For example, like, we have got how many, like 30, 32 teeth. Like we say, like, the number of teeth that you have, if you can chew the food that many times, that means there are 100,000 glands in our mouth. So that creates saliva. By nature, our body is more acidic. So when you continue to be in an acidic environment, our body can gain weight, and then it can create a lot of disease. So our nature is to create more alkaline quality. So when you chew the food a number of times and then gulp it, then it creates this beautiful situation where 80% of the food get digested in our mouth itself. That's why there's a saying that drink your food and eat your juice. you
Huh.
know Oftentimes it's very tricky, like, how can I drink my food? I give an example. Say, for example, if you take 5 almonds, right, and then you chew it about 5 minutes, and you make milk in your mouth and you drink it. So literally you drank the almond, right? So likewise, when you're taking a juice or water, don't take it in one gulp all the way. allow it gulp by gulp, so that like just like chai pi rahe hain, so that there is enough opportunity for the saliva to get mixed with the liquid that you're drinking, so that it get digested in the stomach. 80% of the digestion happens in the mouth itself, so that you can conserve 80% of energy and bounce up and down like a beautiful child, like all through the day. And I to illustrate this one in a very funny way, I can give the example of, look at the cow guy, right? So the cow eats the grass, and I've seen it, like when I was young, like we had a couple of cows in our house, and the cows will browse in the evening. Like they'll sit down and then they will just browse. That means whatever they had stored in their mouth, big mouth, they will bring them back again and chew it more, chew it more, chew it more, and then took it. And what comes out of that? The beautiful amrit like milk comes out of them, right? So that also narrates, like how we can chew the food more number of times, and then how we can create nectar out of what we eat. So the point is how we eat. Another aspect of eating is, like are you in a good state of mind or not, right? What position that you're taking, say for example, in a particular way, that if you look at Indian system, we always sit on the floor and eat it. So in that condition, it will be very impossible to overeat, because you are already leaning forward to eat your food. At some point of time, when the stomach is full, after 20 minutes of eating, you won't feel like eating more, right? So naturally, it will control the amount of food that you take. So as you talked about the concept of mitahara, the moderation in eating, that will automatically be practiced because of the posture itself, right? There are a lot of aspects of whether you should right nostril should breathe or left nostril should breathe when you're drinking water or eating food, so that the digestion happens properly. If you look at the yoga science in a proper way, it's all about the heat. Like the sun is the the oven of the planet, right? It gives the power to digest the food, and that is installed in our own body in the form of solar plexus. So if the sun is not there in the evening or in the night, when you eat the food, those become acidic in nature. That creates a lot of toxic environment, right? So looking at all the different aspects of yoga and Ayurveda, if you can think about, make a dinacharya or make a lifestyle, and follow those routines, most likely will become healthy. And then doesn't matter what we eat, because if you take a small quantity of food, eat with a lot of satisfaction by blessing the food. Like in the olden time, if you all remember, we always try to offer the food to the mother nature by chanting some mantra and then consecrating the food, right? Think about, like when we think about a temple, हमने एक विग्रह ले लिया, एक पत्थर का मूर्त ले लिया, उसमें आप जीवन ध्यान दे दिए, लाइक प्राण प्रतिष्ठा किए. Like if you can think about that in a similar way, what the yogis or our ancestors used to practice, that whatever the food that is coming from the land, from the earth, we must consecrate that with the mantra, with the power of in positive thinking. Like this food is healing me. This food is, I'm so grateful for the food. There are so many hands that have shared to bring this food onto my plate. So if I become grateful, automatically the food becomes very nutritive, and then it gets digested in our body, assimilated into our body like nectar, amrit. So that is why knowing about the science of how we should eat is very important, and what we eat also becomes very powerful. Want to build that consciousness, that awareness that goes behind the food that we eat. That's what they call it. We are what we eat. Not just what we eat, but how we eat also.
Beautiful. We are what we eat, and how we eat. And I'm reminded in the presence of Manoj ji about the meaning of word ahar. So ahar is not just what you eat through your mouth, but whatever is going in your system through all the senses. So what you hear, what you smell, and all those things, what you touch, everything matters. And we are having good ahara for our soul through you, Manojji. So I appreciate the way you explained the importance of eating in the right way and having the right food. But moving beyond food for now, but we'll probably come back on certain aspects of right food to move towards excellence. When you chose seven secrets to personal excellence, what are the seven secrets that you have call it classified as?
Very nice. So the seventh secret, the first secret talks about stretching, right? Just before we understand the seven secrets, we would like to throw about an idea about panchakosha. So panchakosha is a yogic concept that our body is not just a physical body, but within this physical body, there are different layers of our being. The first layer is, of course, Annamaya Kosha, which is the body that is created by the food that we eat. Anna is the food, Maya is pervading. So the body which is created or the pervaded by the food is called Annamaya Kosha. Then behind this Annamaya Kosha, there is a Pranamaya Kosha, which talks about the prana or the life force, the basic energy that creates this body or this animates this body. So behind the physical body, there is a Pranamaya Kosha, the seat of vital being or seat of prana. Then also we have got a Manomaya Kosha, the seat of mind or the thoughts or the feelings. Then behind that also there is a Vijnanamaya Kosha, the seat of intelligence or discerning power. And behind all these things, there is also layer of Ananda, Anandamaya Kosha, the seat of bliss. So from the Annamaya Kosha to Anandamaya Kosha, all that we do is a transcendental journey from the gross to the subtle body. So when we look at the different aspects of the seven secrets, this is built around this concept of Panchakosha. That means in order to have a physical body which is very healthy, we must adopt some kind of stretching, because we have got how many 76 trillions of cells in our body. If you think about the different arteries that supply the pure blood from our heart to different parts of our body, if you can think about, if you're connecting all the arteries together, it can go around the earth 7 times. That means such an intricate network of small little arteries, and then pure little hearts, which is just like a fist size, have to pump in blood all the time. So most of the time, the heart is trying to pump in positive, I mean, the blood to our system, but because of stress, because of sedentary lifestyle, because of high level cholesterol in our food, so these arteries are choked, like they have got different plaques, just like we build plaques in our teeth. So they are choked. So the blood is not flowing through that. So, in order to be more receptive to the blood that is coming from the heart, we have to do some stretching, some basic stretching every day we must engage into to open up the physical body so that the blood transfusion, the microcirculation happens. So, from that point of view, we come up with the first secret, which is the stretching of the body. In Vedic terms, like when my Himalayan teacher was teaching me, he quote a particular sloka, which means Nakha Sikhanta Dwadasa Mahadwara Bakrasane Chakrasane Sithilikarana, which means from the toes to the head, Nakha to Shikha, there are 12 major doors in our body. So, in order to keep our body healthy, we just have to do two things. One is Vakrasan, that means forward bending, backward bending. One is Chakrasan, that means clockwise and counterclockwise movement. Now, think about your elbow joints, think about your wrist joint, think about your knee joint, your ankle joints. So, all the joints are important aspect of our body. Like as we also hear about the English saying, like we are as old or as young as our joints are. And particularly when you go beyond 40, the vata prakriti dominates in our body, and then joint pain starts, back pain starts, our joints become sick or ill, right? So in order to prevent that, this particular technique of the opening of the joints from the toes to the head in a particular way, forward bending, backward bending, clockwise and counterclockwise, that constitutes the major aspect of stretching technique. So if you just do that 5 minutes, it's like changing the oil of your car. So our body is traversing a lot of distances, a lot of work it is doing. So if you change this oil in a way, every now and then, like once in 3 hours or 4 hours time, just 5 minutes, then the body become healthy. The second aspect of personal excellence is breathing. We are breathing all the time. 21,600 times we breathe in a particular day. If you count 15 counts in a minute. So all this time, how we breathe properly. So there is a whole science of breathing that really talks about. This teacher of mine, he taught me 576 different breathing stages, and it takes about 72 hours to go through that whole cycle. And through that, you can, of course, create a lot of energy in your body, even without the conventional food and water, because the five elements that is behind this body, the Pancha Mahabhut, the Prithvi Tattva, Jala Tattva, Agni Tattva, Vayu Tattva, and Akasha Tattva. So there are different permutation combination happens when you breathe in this cycle. That's what he was experimenting for 2 years when he was in Himalayas. He survived without food and water. And he revealed the secret that if you engage into this kind of breathing style in a sedentary position, the body can create 3,125 calories of the energy, which is just enough to survive 24 hours in a day. The third aspect is our eating, the food. We are what we eat. So we talked a little bit aspect about the eating already. The fourth aspect is cleansing. So whatever the food that we eat must be creating a lot of toxins in our body, right? We are chemical body, so we must cleanse it physically. Our mind is creating a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings. So over a period of time, not everything is positive. So we must learn how to emotionally cleanse ourselves. Of course, spiritual cleansing also very important aspect. Whatever memories that we might be carrying from life after life, or whatever memories that we have been influenced through our parents or through upbringing or from the peers, those are also corroding our spiritual body. So we must adhere to some kind of spiritual cleansing. So, likewise, cleansing is another aspect of our secret. Then we must learn how to relax well. Yoga Nidra is a perfect technique of how to relax for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, how we can sleep well in the night. So, relaxation is very important. Right. And of course, we have to learn how to heal our body. So, healing like Reiki, like energy healing. There are so many aspects of healing that we also can consider as the secret of healthy life and personal excellence. And finally, of course, meditation and mindfulness. So, stretching, breathing, diet, cleansing, relaxation, healing, and meditation. These are the seven secrets that we talk about, how we can customize this based on Rutu Kala Mana Chakra. That means depending on the seasons, depending on the time, and depending on all the different variables that an individual is subjected to. So if you can customize these seven secrets and make a routine for them and then inspire them to practice certain things in a particular way, in a ritualistic way, then definitely we can lead that person towards personal excellence.
Excellent. When I say excellent, I think what you have just shared is reassuring, because all these seven secrets to personal excellence are part of everyone's life. They are stretching sometimes knowingly, unknowingly. Of
Right,
course, everyone is breathing, eating, cleansing. Also, everyone is taking shower. Most of us. Any, and then
right.
of course, healing is integral part of the body. So many times, if you are hurt, you find that it is not just what you did, bandage, etc. There is some innate ability in the body to heal, and of course, we don't know, but we do relax, and sometimes our mind doesn't help us in relaxing the way we should. So all these things, I was just repeating to mention that what you are sharing as secrets of to personal excellence are already a part of our lives, but how we can make certain shifts so that they bring desired results. And I think there I will go back to you from the seventh point. Maybe we'll come back to the other point, but how meditation and mindfulness relates uh, to dealing with a sense of loneliness, which, as Surgeon General of United States of America, Dr. Vivek Murthy, in one of his lecture recently talked about, loneliness is acute problem in America, which is leading to mental health issues. So, talk to me about what you um, are sharing in terms of empowering people to be a complete whole of joy.
I think it's a very touchy aspect that you have talked about, like how the loneliness could be a single source of depression, anxiety, and sadness, and grief, and all these things. Like I think this is because of our misunderstanding. Right? We always in a olden system, like when we're living in a joint family. Like say, for example, myself, like I've been lucky to. Have a joint family. Like I'm the eighth one in my family, Ashtam Garb, just like Bhagwan Krishna. Right?
Congratulations.
Right. So I've got five sisters and three brothers. Like we have a joint family. My dad was six brothers and two sisters. My mom was like that. So when we live in a joint family, that concept of like what's there for me is minimized. Like what's there for all is maximized. Right. And then when we are coming out from those joint families kind of setups, and then we are coming to a nuclear family, we're not even thinking about getting married and thinking about a very isolated life, like where we're just thinking about myself. Like so automatically the kind of progression that we are doing as a human beings, it is leading us towards a lonely life. So that is why the importance of understanding about our true nature, understanding about how social being are we, like how we are connected. This is inherent in us. How we can upbring that concept, like even though I don't have a family of my own, how I can think about the whole Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept, like how the world can be one family, what basically our yoga concept teaches about. So coming out of that cocoon of me-centric world and embracing the entire world as one family, this should be the philosophy behind it. That's one aspect. Second aspect is like when we talk about yoga, yoga definitely talks about, you know, that we are an integral part of the nature. Call it a higher self, call it a god, call it divine, whatever name that we say. Think about, like, we start a journey with one tiny cell in our mother's womb. Now from that one tiny cell, like a sperm and ovum got together, one zygote got formed, and out of that, two cells became, four cells became, 100 cells become, 1,000 cells become, trillions of cells became in 9 months, and how we came out of this as a human life body. Think about the power behind it. Like, that means we have the power of creating 76 trillions of cells from one tiny cell that we are given by the nature. That is the power of us. That is the power of spirituality. That is the power of collaboration between us and the nature. So when you think about this collaboration that is happening behind the scene, where are we alone? Even though we are talking right now, people with psychic vision, they could see like there could be millions of invisible beings around us right now participating in this conversation. There are a lot of positive powers behind us. There are ancestral forces, there are thoughts, there are imaginations, there are memories, there are prayers, there are dreams. All these things are also like physical beings in an unseen way. So when we look at the whole aspect of yoga and spirituality, and particularly this comes very close when we meditate for some time every day. When we meditate, what we meditate? Meditate on the divine grace in our heart. Meditate on the God's grace in our heart. Meditate on that little, what we call the Angusta Purusha in our heart, like Atma, we call it. Like, so when you believe in that Atma that is present in our heart center, and we meditate on that psychic being comes to life, and that navigates the entire life. After that, everything that you see, everyone that you see, it become a part and parcel of that being. So that loneliness will just disappear, because the loneliness is a concept of ignorance or avidya. So the spirituality or the yoga or meditation teaches about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is your family, right? So when you transcend from the limited me thinking, from the physical point of view, when you think about that 90% of the time that you are in that realm of Annamaya Kosha, the physical body, my identity, my ego, my wealth, my job, my status, my community, there's all physical aspect of it. But when you go a little bit down to the vital aspect of your being, go to the down of your psychic aspect of your being, go a little bit more to the spiritual aspect of our being. We are spiritual beings. So when we are a spiritual being, living in that spirit of love, compassion, hard work, and friendship, so that limited idea or the notion of me as a lonely being will disappear. So this is the practical aspect of yoga. When we contemplate on that, the bigger nature of our being every day for 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a meditative state, that will slowly remove the ignorance from our limited mind and try to bring in the light from the uh, from the spiritual sources and enlighten us. That is the whole aspect of meditation. How to bring that aspect of divinity into our psychic body, into our vital body, and then also to our physical body. So when you become conscious about your breath, your body becomes straight and forward, your backbone gets straight, the prana moves through your spinal column, all the chakras get balanced, and then so ultimately the breath is something that we do all the time, 24/7. So if you just try to become aware of every breath that we take, not every breath is possible, but at least 5 times, 10 times, 20 times throughout the day, while you're doing engaging in meetings, while we're driving, while we're eating, or just before we eat, after we eat. So when you try to blend in this concept of conscious breathing and then try to enhance your prana, then automatically you're doing pranayama, which means you're extending the power of prana or the life force, or you're trying to extend your longevity. Like, that means that by just becoming aware of your breath, if you practice certain breathing in a natural way, in a normal way, when you're walking, when you're doing all the activities, we can extend our longevity 10 more years.
Wonderful. So Manoj is not just a yoga expert; he's an excellent communicator, and one would like to continue to have the opportunity of listening to him, and that we will have some other day again. But for now, I thank you with expression of gratefulness on the commitment of improving quality of life through your wellness by all means that you have taken upon yourself, and with lots of good wishes for you as well as for our viewers.
Thank you
Namaste.
so much, Ashok ji. Thank you so much. You have done a wonderful job of creating this platform. So wish you all the best and hope all our listeners learn something new from our conversation. Thank you. Namaste.